Hey, I'm Lisa Faye, and today I'm going to show you how to make this DIY Christmas ornament wreath for your home this holiday season. I know it might look a little complex because of how busy it is, but this was actually really simple to make. You just need a lot of hot glue. If you're interested in other wreath DIY videos, please check out the other ones I have here on my channel. If you're new here to the channel, please take a moment and hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. I actually made one last year and I did it in a metallics color scheme. So the gold, silver, rose gold. It's the same wreath, but a totally different look to it. Which one do you like best? All right, let's get started. I'm using a glue gun, a lot of hot glue, and a wreath form from the Dollar Tree. Here are all the ornaments that I bought for this project. I just kind of guessed at the quantity that I would need, and these are all from the Dollar Tree. I really found that that's the cheapest way to make this wreath, but if you get a deal on ornaments at another store, feel free to use those. Really, any type of these non-breakable plastic globe ornaments will work for this project. You just want to have like a variety of sizes, and I personally like having a variety of finishes as well. So some of them are glittered, some of them are shiny, and some of them are a matte finish. You can also use the ones that have like textures or have a little bit more of an ornate pattern to them. Those would work as well. So I'm just emptying out all of the ornaments that I purchased here. I bought, I think, 4 or 5 different sizes for this project, and here I am just laying them out around the outside of the wreath form. I didn't want them to form any sort of a pattern per se because I didn't want it to look too perfect, but I also wanted it to just be kind of evenly distributed color-wise and finish-wise. So I'm taking my largest ornaments first and I am arranging them around the outside and trying not to have the same color next to each other or the same, like a higher concentration of like reds in one region or greens in one region, for example. So I'm just trying to get a good distribution and laying them out around the outside of the wreath form and the inside of the wreath form. When I bought the ornaments, I really wished that they had a little bit more of a selection. The store that I went to really didn't have that many of the large ornaments left, so I just grabbed what I was able to in the colors that I wanted. I do recommend doing at least a couple colors, that way you have some variety, and I really do like it having a mixture of the different finishes on the ornaments. So I'm just taking my glue gun and I am gluing around the outside of the stem of the ornament, wherever the hanger is on the ornament. That is always going to be facing downward or inward as you are working on this project. And so I'm just trying to stick a lot of hot glue there and let it adhere to the wire frame of the wreath form. As you can see, I'm working on a solid white surface here. That is a piece of paper, a giant piece of like poster board paper. You can use any type of paper you have on hand. Newspaper works fine. I do recommend working on some sort of a protective paper surface for that, and you'll see the reasoning why later on in this project. But I mean, you are working with hot glue here, and there's going to be hot glue that drips down. So having a paper surface that you can rip away at the end, as I'll show you at the end of this video, really is helpful. I've tried other surfaces in the past, like plastic sheeting, and that has just been an absolute nightmare. It has not worked out well for me, so I do recommend using paper. So just glue your large globes down as securely as you can. If in doubt, use a little bit extra hot glue. You want these to really be securely on there. After you have the outside and inner rings of the wreath glued down, take whatever large balls you have left and kind of just position them in the center region. I didn't have that many of the largest size left at this point, So I was just using whatever I had and sticking them wherever I thought it would look good to try to get like an even distribution. And then I figured I would fill in with the next smallest size. So that's what I'm emptying here, the next smallest size of globe. And I just start filling in with those. And at this point, you're gonna see a lot of gaps. Like you can see where I just put that last one. There's a lot of gaps in there, and just don't worry about that at this point. It will all fill in, it will all look fine in the end. You're gonna fill that in with just different ornaments. And yeah, just keep on going, keep on gluing. Don't worry about it too much. If there's, if you're only using 2 or 3, 4 colors, you are going to have some of the colors next to each other. But just try not to have like a whole region of red or a whole region of green. Try to mix in those other colors wherever you can and get as much variety in each section all the way around. I don't know, does that make sense? And really, when you're gluing these, just take the globe that you're working with, the ornament ball, and hold it so that the stem of it is up, and then just glue all the way around with your hot glue gun, and then just point it downward or inward, and it will adhere. Sometimes you have to glue them at first. At first, when you're working on this project, you're gluing to the wreath form itself, but as you keep building and keep adding the ornaments, you are gluing the ornaments to the ornaments around it and not necessarily to the wreath form. So it kind of changes a little bit and evolves, like the way that you are constructing it as you are working on the project. And here is the next size of ornaments. This is the second to smallest size that I had. And these came in multi-packs at the color-wise at the Dollar Tree. The larger ornaments came just in solid red or solid green, like you got just one color per pack. But the smaller size ornaments came in a multi-pack, which was great. So I picked up a few of those. And I was just sorting them and kind of setting a few aside. If there's a few ornaments here and there that don't really look 100% perfect, maybe they don't have the right finish on them, which sometimes you get with those cheaper ornaments, I either set those aside or tried to cover them up, like the damaged areas, kind of hide those a little bit. But I do like buying a few more ornaments than I think I'll need for a project, just in case some of the ornaments are a little bit damaged on the finish. So I'm just taking these smaller ornaments and really filling in whatever gaps I see and trying to, as I've said before, get an even color distribution and really make sure that there's that the wreath is looking as even as I can get it. So that's kind of just my strategy going through on this. And I also just try to add as much glue as I can. And also as I'm going, I'm making sure that you know how sometimes you'll get those little strings that are left behind from your glue gun as you're working on a project? I'm trying to just clean those up as well as I'm working on it. And you can see my head in the way there. I'm just trying to like lean around and make sure that I have all the little gaps filled in and really that it's looking good and even and full. All right, I'm done gluing most of the ornaments, and I am now just taking my scissors and cutting around all of the paper, and then I start ripping it away. And I'm able to get most of the paper off, but don't worry if there's little remnants here and there. You're not going to be able to see these when the wreath is on the door or your wall. And you can see right there, I just found an ornament that was a little bit loose. It wasn't quite adhered to the wreath form, so I'm going around and adding some more hot glue. So when you flip your wreath over like this and you pull off the paper, go back in and add more glue, especially to these outer ornaments. Really make sure that they are adhering to that frame. And you get a good view of it here when you have the wreath turned over. Be careful though not to add so much glue that at one time in one spot that it drips down and goes through the front of the wreath. You want to just be really strategic with how you're adding it. Add a little bit at a time, really precisely add it to those ornaments and the wires. And this will really help if you do this extra step right here. It'll really help your wreath to have a little bit more stability, and make sure that you don't lose any of those ornaments over the course of this season. Here's the finished product. I am so thrilled with how it looks. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Bye!